Have you ever looked at someone who seems to have it all, confidence, success, resilience, and thought, what do they have that I don't? Here's the truth. The biggest obstacle between where you are now and where you want to be isn't luck, perfect timing, or even raw talent. It's your mindset. Success, whether in business, sports, or personal growth, doesn't come from external factors alone. It starts from within. It's the decision to show up today as if you already have what it takes. And no, this isn't about faking it or putting on a false front. It's not arrogance. It's about choosing to embody the best version of yourself right now, before the world acknowledges you, before the conditions are perfect, and before you feel ready. The ancient Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most respected philosophers in Rome, taught that we can't control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest leaders, practiced daily self-reflection, reminding himself that his thoughts and actions, not fate or fortune, determined his success. In today's video, we're breaking down how acting as if you are the best isn't just a mindset shift. It's a strategy for real transformation. Here's what you'll learn: why waiting to feel ready is a trap, and how your beliefs shape your reality. The Stoic approach to confidence and self-discipline, and why true power comes from action, not ego. The psychology of habit formation, how small daily shifts create long-term success, how to use failures and setbacks as tools for growth instead of excuses to quit. Why leading by example elevates not just your life, but the people around you. This isn't about wishful thinking, it's about practical philosophy. It's about aligning your thoughts, actions, and standards with the person you want to become. If you're ready to stop waiting and start leveling up, do this right now. Smash that like button. It helps this video reach more people. Drop a comment. What's one area where you'll start acting as if you're already the best? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. Let's get started. Your transformation begins now. Section 1. The power of mindset in Stoic philosophy. How many times have you hesitated before taking action because you didn't feel ready? You tell yourself, I need more experience, more skills, more time. But here's the harsh truth. You will never feel 100% ready. Doubt is inevitable. That little voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, not talented enough, or not qualified enough. It's always going to be there. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of doubt. It's the decision to act in spite of it. This is exactly what the Stoics taught. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, they believed that action creates progress, and progress builds confidence. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, put it simply, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Opportunities won't pause until you feel confident enough to take them. If you wait for confidence before you act, you'll never act. But if you act despite the fear, confidence follows. The shift from passivity to action. This is where acting as if you are the best comes into play. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about making a conscious decision to shift from passivity to action. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who carried themselves with confidence, even if they weren't the most skilled person in the room? They weren't necessarily the most experienced, but they acted as if they belonged. And because they carried themselves that way, people believed in them. When you carry yourself with confidence, you begin to unlock doors that self-doubt would have kept closed. The job interview experiment. Let's take a real-world scenario. Imagine two candidates going into a job interview with the exact same skills and qualifications. Candidate A walks in with their shoulders slumped, speaking hesitantly, filled with self-doubt. Their mind is focused on everything they lack. Candidate B walks in with an upright posture, makes strong eye contact, and speaks clearly about their skills. Even if they feel nervous inside, they present themselves as someone who belongs there. Who do you think gets the job? In almost every case, candidate B is chosen, not necessarily because they are more skilled, but because they acted as if they were the best person for the role. Confidence isn't just felt, it's perceived by others. When you carry yourself with certainty, people respond to it. And this isn't just anecdotal, science backs this up. The neuroscience of fake it till you make it. There's a psychological phenomenon called self-perception theory, which suggests that we don't just act based on how we feel, we actually feel based on how we act. Studies show that when you adopt confident body language, speak assertively, and take bold action, your brain starts to believe you are confident. This isn't fake, it's neuroscience. Your brain rewires itself based on the behaviors you reinforce. For example, researchers at Harvard found that adopting a power pose for just 2 minutes increases testosterone, a hormone linked to confidence, and decreases cortisol, the stress hormone. This means that acting confident literally changes your body chemistry. Another study showed that people who spoke as if they were experts, even when they weren't, retained more information and learned faster than those who hesitated. Why this aligns with Stoic philosophy. This aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings. The Stoics believed that we are not at the mercy of our emotions. We can shape them through conscious action. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He didn't wait until he felt like a great leader to act with wisdom and strength. He made it a daily practice to show up as the best version of himself, regardless of how he felt. So the question is, what would your life look like if you stopped waiting to feel ready? When you decide to act as if you are the best, you're not waiting for confidence, you're creating it. What's next? Confidence without arrogance. Now that you understand the power of acting as if you are the best, the next question is, how do you embody confidence without crossing into arrogance? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. The Stoic approach to confidence and self-discipline. Section 2. Confidence without arrogance. The Stoic way. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. At first glance, they might look similar, but in reality, they couldn't be more different. True confidence is built on self-discipline, continuous growth, and high standards. Arrogance, on the other hand, is fragile. It's based on ego and insecurity. Confidence. The Stoic perspective. When we talk about acting as if you are the best, some people misunderstand this as acting superior to others. But that's not what the Stoics taught. It's not about looking down on people. It's about raising yourself up to your highest potential. A person who is truly confident doesn't need to prove their worth to anyone. They don't need to belittle others to feel strong. Instead, they focus on mastering themselves. The Stoics believed that true power comes from action, not from status or self-importance. And one of the greatest examples of this was Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, power without ego. As the Emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius was one of the most powerful men in history. He could have let his status inflate his ego, but instead he practiced humility and self-discipline. In meditations, he constantly reminded himself, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." For Marcus, being a great leader wasn't about proclaiming his greatness, it was about his actions. He didn't see himself as above others. He saw himself as a student of life, always improving. That's the mindset of true confidence. But how do you recognize the difference between false confidence and true confidence? Let's break it down. False confidence versus true confidence. Many people confuse arrogance with confidence, but there are clear differences between the two. False confidence, ego-driven, seeks validation from others, feels threatened by criticism or failure, talks more than listens, focuses on appearing successful rather than improving. True confidence, action-driven, rooted in self-discipline and experience, embraces challenges and feedback, stays humble and always learning, focuses on progress over perception. This brings us to an important question. How do the best in the world carry themselves? Example: how the best performers think. Take elite athletes or world-class professionals. Do they walk around bragging about how great they are? Instead, they show up every day and put in the work. They understand that mastery is a process, not a title. Michael Jordan didn't assume he was the best and stop training. He practiced more than anyone. Serena Williams didn't rest on her talent. She constantly pushed her limits. Top CEOs don't just sit in boardrooms feeling important. They study markets, refine their strategies, and adapt. This is what it means to act like the best. It's not about seeking approval or validation. It's about setting high standards for yourself, because you refuse to settle for less. Call to action: carry yourself like the best version of you, starting today. So ask yourself, how does the best version of me show up in my work, my relationships, and my habits? What would I do differently if I already believed in my potential? The Stoics didn't believe in waiting for the perfect moment. They believed in taking action now. Starting today, walk, speak, and make decisions like the person you want to become. Because the more you act like the best version of yourself, the more you become it. Now that you understand the difference between confidence and arrogance, how do you make this a daily practice? That's exactly what we're going to explore next: how to turn this mindset into a habit that shapes your life. Section 3. The Stoic practice of becoming. How do you actually become the best version of yourself? Many people think it's about having some big breakthrough moment, but the truth is much simpler. You become the best through repetition. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We become what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. In other words, success isn't about a single grand moment of realization or achievement. It's about the small choices you make every single day. Why small actions matter more than big goals. This is where many people get stuck. They assume that greatness is something you either have or don't have. But look at the best in any field, whether it's philosophy, business, sports, or art, and you'll see the same pattern. They weren't born great. They became great through consistent, disciplined action. Think about it. No one becomes a strong leader, a skilled musician, or a top athlete overnight. They train, refine, and repeat until their actions become part of who they are. The psychology of habit formation, how daily choices shape identity science, backs this up. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains that identity is shaped by repeated actions. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you want to become. If you consistently choose discipline over distraction, you become a disciplined person. If you consistently face challenges instead of avoiding them, you become a resilient person. If you consistently act with confidence, you become a confident person. But here's the problem. Most people wait for motivation. They think, I'll start when I feel ready. But motivation is unreliable. It fluctuates. The Stoics didn't believe in relying on emotions to dictate action. They believed in commitment to principles and habits. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have work to do as a human being. Why am I still lying here? That's the Stoic approach. Do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Practical exercise, the morning identity shift. To make this real, here's something you can start doing immediately. Every morning, before you check your phone or let distractions take over, ask yourself, what would the best version of me do today? Would they hit snooze or wake up and start the day with purpose? Would they waste hours scrolling or invest time in learning something valuable? Would they avoid a challenge or step up to face it head-on? The power of this exercise isn't in just thinking about it, it's in acting on it. The musician who becomes a master. Imagine a musician who dreams of becoming world-class. If they practice only when they feel like it, they stay average. But if they practice daily, whether they feel motivated or not, they build skill, discipline, and confidence over time. What starts as practice eventually becomes identity. This applies to anything: fitness, business, relationships, mindset. The difference between good and great isn't just talent, it's consistency. The next step, confronting weaknesses, a true Stoic test. So now that you understand how habits shape identity, the next question is, what about your weaknesses? The Stoics believed that confronting your flaws, not ignoring them, is what leads to real mastery. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Section 4. Turning weaknesses into strengths, a true Stoic test. When we talk about acting as if you are the best, it's easy to assume that means ignoring flaws, suppressing weaknesses, and pretending to have everything figured out. But true confidence, the Stoic kind, comes from the opposite approach. Acting like the best isn't about masking insecurities, it's about confronting them head-on and turning them into strengths. Why Stoics saw struggles as training? The Stoics didn't shy away from struggle. They understood that adversity isn't a roadblock, it's a training ground. Epictetus, who started life as a slave and later became one of the most respected philosophers in Rome, put it this way: difficulties show a person's character, so when trouble comes, think of it as training. Every setback, every moment of self-doubt, every challenge you face, it's not there to break you. It's there to teach you, to sharpen you, to mold you into something greater. But the way you interpret failure makes all the difference. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Why failing forward is the Stoic way? In modern psychology, there are two mindsets that define how people handle failure. Fixed mindset believes abilities are set in stone, fears failure because it threatens self-worth. Growth mindset believes abilities can be developed, sees failure as a stepping stone to improvement. The Stoics were pioneers of the growth mindset. They didn't see failure as an identity. They saw it as a tool for learning. Think of Thomas Edison when asked about his failed experiments while inventing the light bulb. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the Stoic way, seeing obstacles not as barriers, but as part of the path. How setbacks become stepping stones to mastery. Let's take an example from sports. In 1995, Michael Jordan was already an NBA superstar. But when he attempted a career in baseball, he struggled. He failed publicly. Most people saw it as an embarrassment. But Jordan didn't dwell on failure. He used it as fuel. He returned to basketball stronger, more focused, and more relentless than ever. In 1996, he led the Chicago Bulls to a record-breaking season and 3 consecutive championships. Setbacks didn't define him. His response to them did. The same applies to your own life. Rejection, failure, and struggles are not signs that you're not good enough. They are proof that you're in the game, that you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Extracting lessons from failure. Here's an exercise to apply this right now. Think of a recent failure or setback. Write down what it taught you. What did you learn about yourself? What skill did you develop because of it? Ask yourself, how can I use this experience to get better? This is how Stoics grow, by facing discomfort instead of avoiding it. What's next? Leadership and influence through action. Mastering yourself is one thing, but how do you inspire others to rise to their potential? This is where true leadership begins, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Section 5. Leadership and influence. Elevating others through your actions. There's a powerful truth that many people overlook. Your growth isn't just about you. The way you carry yourself, the standards you uphold, and the mindset you cultivate don't exist in isolation. They ripple outward, influencing your family, your friends, your colleagues, even people you've never met. The Stoics understood this well. They believed in a concept called sympathia, the idea that we are all interconnected. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, "What injures the hive injures the bee." This means that your struggles, your victories, and your attitude don't just affect you. They set the tone for those around you. If you elevate yourself, you elevate others. The power of leading by example versus trying to control others. Most people make the mistake of trying to force others to change. They give advice, tell people what to do, and get frustrated when others don't listen. But true leadership isn't about controlling others. It's about becoming the kind of person others want to follow. Think about the leaders who inspire you the most. Are they the ones constantly telling people how to live? Or are they the ones who lead by example, showing discipline, integrity, and excellence through their own actions? Top leaders don't demand respect, they earn it. Marcus Aurelius. Leadership through virtue. Despite being an emperor, Marcus Aurelius never saw himself as superior to his people. He focused on living virtuously and making decisions based on wisdom, not ego. His example inspired generations, not because he demanded it, but because his actions spoke louder than words. Similarly, in modern times, look at leaders like Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi. They didn't change the world through orders and demands. They did it through the strength of their character and consistency. And the same principle applies to your everyday life. How top leaders inspire. Confidence through action, not words. Imagine two managers in a company. Manager A constantly talks about work ethic and dedication, but cuts corners and shows up late. Manager B doesn't preach, but shows up early, works harder than everyone else, and remains calm under pressure. Who do you think the team will respect and follow? The answer is obvious. People follow action, not words. And this applies beyond leadership roles. Whether you're a parent, a mentor, or a friend, your influence isn't about what you say, it's about who you are. Your personal growth has a ripple effect. When you raise your own standards, you give others permission to do the same. You create an environment where excellence becomes the norm. You influence people not by what you say, but by who you are. This is why acting as if you are the best is not just a mindset shift, it's a responsibility. Now, the final question is, how do you make this a daily practice and transform your life over time? That's exactly what we'll explore in the next and final section. Conclusion: the daily practice of becoming the best. You now understand that acting as if you are the best isn't about arrogance or pretending. It's about making a choice, every single day to show up as the best version of yourself, regardless of external circumstances. This is a daily practice, not a one-time decision. Even Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, had to remind himself each morning. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive. He understood that each new day is an opportunity to improve, to act with virtue, to push forward even when life feels difficult. Your new daily ritual: show up as your best self. Here's the challenge for you. Start your mornings with intention. Before you check your phone, before you let distractions take over, ask yourself, how would the best version of me approach this day? What actions would they take? What mindset would they embody? Then act accordingly. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you have doubts, because confidence and mastery aren't built on feelings, they're built on consistent action. Progress, not perfection. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. The goal isn't to never fail or never struggle. The goal is to keep growing. Acting like the best doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It means you'll own them, learn from them, and keep moving forward. It doesn't mean you'll never face setbacks. It means you'll use them as stepping stones instead of excuses. It doesn't mean you'll always feel ready. It means you'll take action anyway. This is the Stoic way, a commitment to excellence, resilience, and self-discipline. So, as you go forward, make the choice, not just today, but every day, to act as if you are the best. That's how you become it. If you found value in this, don't forget to subscribe and join the journey of continuous growth. And if you're ready to take this to the next level, check out one of the suggested videos on your screen now. Stay strong, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one.